and welcome to this quick FinancialForce Accounting demonstration. In this demonstration, I'm going to show quick navigation. I'm going to show you the accounts receivable process, accounts payable process, and reports and dashboards to wrap it up. So you'll find with FinancialForce, navigating is quite easy because it's built on the Salesforce platform. It utilizes Salesforce objects such as accounts or opportunities, but also adds objects such as sales invoices. When you first log on, you should go to the accounting app. And in this accounting app, there are tabs up at the top, which will show you your certain navigation items. You can go here for your dashboards, reports, accounts. You can click the More drop-down to show payable invoices, cash entries, year-end logs, and revenue contracts, and much more. Another key part of the FinancialForce navigation is your utility items down at the bottom. You can see all of your different FinancialForce navigation items, which will show you your different processes, such as fixed assets or general ledger, or accounts payable or accounts receivable. You have other utility items, such as recent items, which will show you your recent records, FFA links, reporting, month-end close, AP functions, AR functions, and your select company utility item, which allows you to log into certain companies within your organization. Another key aspect of FinancialForce is your workspaces. You can find workspaces by searching for them in the app launcher. Your accounts payable workspace will show you utility items such as overdue payable invoices for accounts in this organization, in-progress payments, unmatched cash receipts, and an AP aging report, which shows you what AP items are aged. This dashboard, this workspace, can also be fully customized. Moving on to the accounts receivable process. The accounts receivable process will first start by raising an invoice. So you can navigate to sales invoices via this accounting app, or you can search for sales invoices in your 9dots app launcher. Here you are navigated to a list view of all of your sales invoices. Here you can see you can change the invoice list view to on hold, overdue, or my recently viewed invoices. If we click on all sales invoices, here you can see list views using Salesforce functionality can be changed with filters. They can also be changed to select fields to display on your list. But to create a new list, a new sales invoice, you will click the New button. This can also be done from Salesforce opportunities. But before we create this new invoice, we need to make sure we're logged into the correct company. Here we can do this using the utility item at the bottom. We're currently logged into Merlin Technologies Limited. So we click New. Search for the company that we want to create the invoice for, Merlin Technologies Limited. We can now search for the correct account. The recent account is Acme. We can add dimensions to this invoice, which will add it to the header level. This can be used for reporting purposes. Here we can also specify other things such as the accounting company. The accounting company has to be owned by the same company that owns the invoice. Here we can also specify such as the invoice date and due date, which for simplicity is just going to be for today. Scrolling down, we can also link billing contracts. We can also link other things such as billing documents or projects from FinancialForce PSA. You can also specify the template to be used in revenue recognition. If we save this, this should then save the invoice header and navigate us to an overview of the entire invoice. Here we see key header items up at the top, averages and totals on the banner below, and a line items tab. On these tabs, we can see in-depth details. These pages can be edited to show different fields. We've got line items, Transactions, there shouldn't be any transactions linked to this invoice yet because it hasn't been posted. Matched payments, files, and other related items. We click on line items and then add a product. This uses Salesforce products. So this is just a lookup field to a Salesforce product that may already be used within your environment. Once we select the product, say license, the unit price is automatically selected from the Salesforce product. For instance, we can be selling 10 licenses. We can also add dimensions to the line level. We can also specify tax codes, which will then default tax rates and tax values. I'm going to leave these blank for the purposes of simplicity. Once we're happy, we can then save that line, and that saves it to the invoice header. Once we're happy with the whole invoice, we can then post it. This will then post the invoice status will then become complete, and the payment status is unpaid as it has not been matched to any payments. Here we can see that there should be a transaction. This can sometimes take a few seconds. There should now be a transaction for this invoice. This is where FinancialForce Accounting will post to your general ledger. Here is the specific general ledger account that is posted to and your specific debit and credit. These are also linked to accounts or products or dimensions. This is what FinancialForce uses for reporting purposes. The next step of your accounts receivable process would be to create a cash entry when your client has paid this invoice. So if your client has paid this invoice, you will now navigate to cash entries. From here, we're navigated to another list view. We can click all to see all of our list views. Click new to create a new cash entry. The type of our cash entry will be receipt. Here you can see there are 4 main types: receipt, refund, payment, and payment refund. The cash entry value is calculated from the lines, so we do not need to specify that here. Here we can specify such things as the bank account. We can also specify the period, although this is not necessary because it will be defaulted from the date, as is shown by this derived period checkbox. We can also specify the currency of the cash entry. This again needs to be the same company owning the same currency as the cash entry. We can specify the certain dimensions that we want. And we can add discard reasons if we want to discard it later. We can now save this, and this will create the header of our cash entry. Something to note is all of these page layouts are all entirely customizable through Salesforce processes. Here we can add line items for the account, which was Acme. The cash entry value to match it to that one invoice was 1,100. This defaults the bank account value. You can add line charges if the bank has charged you for the transaction, and the net value is calculated upon save. We can then save this. And we can post this cash entry. As you can see, this cash entry is now being posted. The status is now complete. So the next part of the process would be to match off the cash entry and the sales invoice. This is done via the cash matching tab. Cash matching tab should be within your accounting app, but also you can find it in your 9 dots. Within cash matching, you can then select an account. Here you get a list of all of your Salesforce accounts. You can search for an individual account. we want Acme. We can then choose which currency we want to be matching the documents in. The account trading currency is US dollar, but we did not trade in US dollar, we traded in GBP. So we will select the document currency, which is Great British Pounds. We can then retrieve all the transactions for this account in GBP. And here we see we have our specific cash entry. The account has an account outstanding value in USD. The document outstanding value is minus 1,100 GBP. The same goes for the sales invoice. Here we can select each side, which is that sales invoice and that cash entry. And here you can see the matching difference up at the top. Your whole aim is to get the matching difference to 0. This will allow you to match several documents against one document. For instance, one payment for 2 invoices. Once you're happy and this matches 0, you can then commit transactions. Here you can specify the period, the matching date, and the settlement discount general ledger account, along with the write-off general ledger account and dimensions. We can then commit. A matching process is in progress, and you'll receive an email when the matching process is done. Here, if we navigate to sales invoices, you should be able to see the sales invoice is now paid. It may take a few minutes. There we go. The payment status has now changed to paid. And that matches all of your accounts receivable process. Moving on to your accounts payable process, what you'll have to do is raise a payable invoice instead of a sales invoice. This mirrors the process of making a sales invoice, and therefore, for simplicity and time, I have already made it. I have posted this payable invoice and I have not paid it, so this shouldn't be used. The payable invoice that I have previously made is this one. This one is complete and unpaid. So now we first navigate to the Payments Plus to make this payment. We can search in our 9 dots, Payments Plus. Here we can specify things like the payment date, which we can default to today. The period and the discount date will be automatically calculated. The bank account will be default. We can specify the payment currency and the payment method, which can be aspirato, check, or electronic. Here we can also specify the currency write-off and the settlement discount general ledger accounts. From here, we can create the payment proposal. From here, we can now filter to find transactions which we need to pay. So I'm going to remove this electronic filter to show all payments that we need to pay for this company. We can now retrieve transactions. And this is the correct payable invoice. We can now add that to proposal, and that adds that payable invoice to this proposal at the right. From here, you can add several different payable invoices to one payment proposal to make your payment runs quicker and easier. Here, the payment total is now 100 GBP, the payment date and the period, bank account, the currency, and all of your general ledger accounts. You can now review the proposal. This will show you an overview of your payment. This will obviously be a lot bigger if you're creating several payments at once. We can now prepare the electronic. From here, we can configure a bank payment file, which will have a BACS file on it to generate to send off to the bank. From here, you can now post and match. This will post a payment which will post a payable, which will post a cash entry and match it to your payable invoice. This may take a few minutes. And that's the end of your accounts payable process. Moving on to reports and dashboards. Now, because FinancialForce is built on Salesforce, it utilizes Salesforce reports and Salesforce dashboards. Here we can navigate to dashboards in your accounting app. You can view all dashboards. You can have dashboards in folders, which you can restrict access to, and you can have a recently viewed. Here you can see my recently viewed, I have a CFO dashboard. This is incredibly useful as it can show you all different kinds of things, such as your sales pipeline, multi-company reports. It can show you revenue recognition. It can show you account AR aging, what is outstanding for each account. You can adjust these reports very, very simply just by editing the dashboard. You can remove them and you can add more by adding a new component. We'll discard the changes. You can also use Salesforce reports by going to the Reports tab. Here you can see you get standard Salesforce reports in all reports. You can have the same functionality with restricting folders. You can favorite reports, and you can have a recently viewed. Let's click on AP aging. This report is of the type transactions with transaction line items and accounts. Therefore, it shows you all transaction line items for each account. It's grouped by company and grouped by aging period. Therefore, we can see this purchase invoice, which is linked to this transaction for this account, is in the current aging period. These can be edited in many different ways. And here is a graph showing you the results of the report. When you edit them, you can use standard Salesforce functionality to change the aging period, to change the company. You can add filters to filter for each company. You can update the preview automatically. And you can also add new columns. FinancialForce does also come with its own reporting tool or FinancialForce reporting. You can navigate to the reporting app to find it. Here you can generate some out-of-the-box reports. There are lots to choose from. These create reporting definitions and reporting filters, although the end user would only really be using the reporting tab. Here you can see different reports that come out of the box. I can show you now a balance sheet detail. We'll have to specify the company name. I'm going to specify Merlin Technologies Limited. We can now view the report. This reporting tool gives you more of an accountancy view rather than a Salesforce view. Here you can see a detailed balance sheet. These can be edited to add different columns, to have multi-companies, and to have much more. FinancialForce Accounting can also use different reporting tools such as Financial Report Builder or Tableau Analytics. However, these are a bit too complicated to be going into in this quick demonstration. So that concludes this quick demonstration. Here we've gone through basic navigation, your AR process, AP process, and some simple reports and dashboards. Thank you for watching.